Welcome to Spread Love in Organizations, the healthcare leadership podcast where we explore leadership with purpose. I'm Naji, your host, joined today by Karim Benhadji, Chief Medical Officer at Inspirna. Karim has nearly 20 years of experience in biopharmaceutical oncology drug development and most recently served as Chief Medical Officer at GV20 Therapeutics. He previously served as Senior Vice President, Head of Clinical Development and Operations at Taiho Oncology, where he oversaw the development of early and late-phase portfolio assets, including the FDA approval of Lidgobi in cholangiocarcinoma and the phase 3 Sunlight that led to the FDA approval of Lonsurf in combination with bevacizumab in patients with metastatic colorectal cancer. Prior to joining Taiho Oncology, Karim spent 13 years with Eli Lilly in oncology development roles of increasing responsibility, including overseeing several immuno-oncology programs. Karim received his MD from the University of Oran and completed his oncology fellowship in the universities of Oran and Paris. He also received a Master of Science in Pharmacology and Therapeutics in Oncology from the University of Paris. Karim, it's so great to see you again and have you with me today.
Thank you for the invitation, Naji. Pleased to be here today.
I would love first to hear more about your personal story. What brought you to medicine first and now being an executive in the biotech industry?
Yeah, so it's really an interesting question. So I was born and raised in Algeria. I grew up there. And when I was really in school, also including in high school, I had a passion for math, for science, biology, but also computer science. At the end of high school, I was really wondering what to do. And I had a really strong attraction to technology, computer science. And you had to make a choice at the time. And I opened myself to the suggestion that medicine might be a good option for me because I like science, because in involving field, you have research and so on. But I didn't really know much about it at the time. But I took really the risk and say, okay, let's try medicine and see what could happen. And I really loved it there. So I got my medical degree, and then the question after that was, what specialty to pick up, right? Oncology at the time was really a confidential specialty, not many options for patients at the time. And I had the opportunity to discuss with an oncologist, young oncologist that got her specialty just around that time. And I said, okay, this might be really interesting. So let's go there and see. And really, very quickly, when I started my residency in oncology, I really loved it. I mean, you have really sick patients, you are taking care of them, but you have the aspect that the field is really evolving very quickly. You have the research aspect that you are really trying to look for innovation, new solutions for patients. So I really loved that. And I said, okay, this is really, I really like it. And I would continue in this field. So I continued that and then moved after that to France to continue my training in oncology. And because of the research aspect in oncology, I went to the lab and then spent 1 year in the lab doing research. So that was a really passion for me, really research and looking for for innovation for patients. And after that, I was really facing dilemma what to do, going back to clinical practice, doing a PhD after the master, or I got randomly cold call from a recruiter who was looking for physicians to go to industry. And then I was introduced an opportunity for Lilly to be a clinical research physician, and then I entered the industry. At the time, I was really curious about industry because as physicians, we are not really exposed to industry. Your exposure is at most through sales reps. We don't know really what it was like a black box. But I went there with the idea, okay, I will spend there a couple of years and see how it goes. And again, I loved it. Lilly really gave me the opportunity to really learn about drug development in the industry, got exposure to local experience in France, regional experience in Europe, and then global experience later, experience in medical affairs, late stage development, early stage development. So really great career at Lilly that I really learned everything about drug development there. After nearly 13 years, after a little bit over 13 years at Lilly, the question, okay, what to do next? As a drug developer, your aim really is to get a new drug approved for patients. And I was introduced to an opportunity at Taiho Oncology at the time to lead a team, build a team, but also to get a drug to the finish line like Gobi that was later approved in idiopathic cholangiocarcinoma with FGFR2 rearrangements. So that was the key driver, where to go to Taiho Oncology to get the drug approved. And I was really glad that I had an opportunity with Gobi approval, but also line extension for LONSURF in combination with the bevacizumab in colorectal cancer. I was able to build a great team and also got exposed to a different setup in the pharmaceutical industry, not a big pharma, smaller size. So you have less expertise in-house. You have also a different style of decision-making. So that was a really great experience. And that drove me really to go, push it really further, to go smaller organizations. So I took the leap and then to take a job as a CMO in a small biotech, and then changed recently to be the chief medical officer at Inspirna. So that's really my journey. I really love and I have passion for drug development and bringing innovation for patients.
Well, thanks for sharing this. And you've finished it with the framing of your purpose, which is developing and bringing those medicines for patients. And we both know it's hard. Biology, it's hard, and having the opportunity to take an asset from early to late phase and getting it in patients' hands at the end, making it the medicine is super hard. And you've done it early, late, small, big pharma, from France, Europe, US, like in very different settings. What is your key learning through all those experiences, building teams, as you said, and developing drug in oncology to get them to market? Is there any key learning you would give us?
Diversity. We are all different, right? Even within the same family, people are really different. And you get exposed to different culture, different way of working, different opinion styles, and then even within companies, and then even in the same country, you see really different styles. So I think that fascinating aspect where you see different cultures, Europe, US, or Asia, I always really loved it because it's really, you are trying really to make your case and to bring people together from different cultures, different backgrounds together for a common purpose. That's what I really love, that aspect, that we had that opportunity in pharma to do it, because we work almost globally to bring solutions for patients.
I love it. Like, you went immediately, you didn't go into science and the technical aspect of drug development or clinical operations. You went into people and bringing diverse cultures together on a common purpose. So can you share a little bit more? Because my next question would have been leadership skills that you learned. So I'd love for you to share a little bit more. What have you developed as leadership skill, or the skill you look as a CMO to build in your team through your journey?
Yeah, so you don't get any training about leadership really, and when you are really early in your career, you say, okay, oh, the CEO is really the leader. When you hear about leadership, you're really looking really up high and see who is the general manager. Those are the leaders of the company. But really, with time, you realize, and then you learn that everyone can be really a leader. You don't need to be a manager to be a leader. You can be an individual contributor and then be really a leader. So it's really to bring people together and then working together for common purpose, as we discussed. For leadership, for me, is really about being authentic. So we are really empowering others, bringing people together, but you need to be really authentic. I mean, you can't fake it. People will realize that, even if they don't tell you that, if you are high up. So I think authenticity, being humble, being sometimes vulnerable, and then really trying to bring people together and telling them why we are doing this, because at the end of the day, it's really for patients. I mean, we all have been exposed to patients maybe directly as an MD, but also hit by cancer in family and so on. So it's really personal. And then patients with cancer, I mean, if it's advanced, they can't wait really. And every day that we lose in bureaucracy or making a decision, it has an impact ultimately for patients. So bringing that also perspective to everyone is really important.
If you go back in time to when you graduated from med school, oncology, you went into research in the labs, and then you joined pharma and biotech, what would be the advice you'd give your younger self, or something you wish you knew or acted on as you started your career?
Yeah, I think I changed over time, and I think probably taking more risks. Because I mean, culturally, I was probably not open to more risks as I am today. So I took some risks early on in career, but I think really being more open for taking more risks, not meaning that you jump over right and left, but and then also being open to different perspectives early on. That would be my advice to my young self.
Now, if we look forward with the different drug you developed within the oncology overall, obviously it's one of the places where we're seeing a lot of innovation, a lot of investment, and we just chatted briefly about the landscape these days. What are you most excited about in the next decades for patients living with cancer?
It's really innovation. I think when I look back 20 years ago when I was just fresh young oncologist, and today, I mean, the number of options, the changes that occurred for patients. I mean, patients are really took advantage of that, but we still have a lot of things to do. I think you see innovation with precision medicine. That's something you could have not dreamed of 20 years ago. So I expect that to continue, and with precision medicine, giving access to patients, because we have innovative tools right now, but not everyone really have access to those. And then it depends where you are. It depends if you are lucky to have the big center next to you, and then access to those therapeutic options. We have seen tremendous opportunities with cell-based therapies. So I expect that innovation will continue in those fields. I mean, the artificial intelligence will bring also new opportunities. I think I'm always, I call myself a realistic optimist. So I'm really optimistic. I realize that 90% of what we do will go to trash bin. However, in the process, we learn a lot, and then we ultimately make progress to patients. And sometimes it feels just small, but when you add up all the different options, that will be really great options for patients. We see right now radiopharmaceuticals, ADCs. So immuno-oncology has less love these days, but who knows? We might get surprised in the future. So I expect that innovation will come from areas that we are familiar with, but also it can come from something that we are completely blind to right now.
Yeah, and as you were sharing when you were, in Algeria, thinking about your future, you talked a lot about computer science and you love tech, and I was thinking like, oh, this is the moment, like this is where the full circle is happening with tech coming in. So you shared a little bit about, obviously, like everyone talks about AI, but really about like computational capabilities and what we can do with this, from a drug development to discovery to any thought about this, and how the intersection about computing and biology might take us in the next years?
Yeah, I think a lot of companies, a lot of labs are working right now about integration of AI in cancer discovery, basically identifying targets. But AI, in order to work, you need really a lot of information, machine learning, and then build your model. And then, so I think still have a way to go, but I think it can be there pretty quickly if you use it for chemistry or identifying targets. But at the end of the day, you still have to do the experiment to see if that works. So I expect also AI will help a little bit to make our life easier when you do clinical development and clinical trials, and also earlier on when you do early discovery. But still, way to go.
Oh yeah, I fully agree, and this is the where humility kicks in. Biology certainly humbles us once you do the experiment and get it into humans. But yeah, exciting future ahead. I'm gonna give you now a word, and I would love your reaction to it. So the first one is leadership.
So yeah, I already mentioned it. I mean, the first word is really authentic. So you've got to be really authentic as a leader. And then you need really to have a mission that's clear for you, and then communicate it to people. And it's really, as a leader, up to you really to go to people and explain it. Don't expect people just will read up your mind and understand the mission. So it's really you are here to serve the people and then get them going in the same direction and with the same speed toward the mission.
The next one is drug development.
Oh, for me, it's the passion. That's my first reaction. Drug development is a really a long, can be painful process. And I said already that in oncology specifically, high rate of attrition, but you need really to keep optimism because in the process, you might help few patients, even if the drug is not working. And you need to find joy in simple things. I mean, initiating a trial, well, that's a big celebration. Getting a database log, that's good celebration. At the end of the day, you design experiments, you need to execute them and get the results because we owe that to patients. If you start a trial, you have really a question that you want to address, and then you've got to really execute it. And so a lot of things, I mean, people really talk about drug development, about we design trials, we design innovative designs and so on. But at the end of the day, once you do that, you need to execute that. If you don't execute it, you won't get the answer to the question that you are asking yourself.
I love that you're bringing this because it's so true, right? Like we always are excited, which is normal, right? With the intellectual part of drug development, designing trials, thinking about it, the probability of success, but obviously the discipline and how we execute. And this is the long part, as you said, of making sure that you get things done, well executed for the patients we're serving is crucial. And you also reminded us, I think it's always important to remember that few of those experiments actually end up with a drug becoming a medicine for patients. And that's truly the humbling piece of what you do every day, what we do every day. We celebrate the successful drugs, but also we should not forget to celebrate those who are advanced science, but probably couldn't bring the last phase 3 trial for it to become a medicine. And so it's a great reminder that you're bringing. I don't know if you have any examples or how you led your teams through this, because I think like those are the big parts of the biotech world that we live through. We work years, and sometimes it goes and it's great, and sometimes it does not. So I don't know if you have any.
Yeah, I think you got really to be optimistic, and then even when everything is really failing, or you got really to bring that optimism to the teams, and then help the team see the positive things and not focus on the negative things, because things will go wrong
all the time.
There's no doubt about all the time. But you need really to have people say, okay, we got some negative things, but we are really marching toward our mission, and then help the team see the positive things. At the end of the day, I mean, it's really a process. I think people want positive outcome. That's not always the case. It's really more the exception rather than the rule. And then helping people really understand that even if it's failure for the outcome of trial, we have patients at the end. I mean, patients, they come with hope. Sometimes we help a few of them, and then even if there is that small piece, help them see that. And then that really brings energy to the team, say, okay, this is why we are doing it. And then we help the people in the process. If it's positive, everyone is happy.
Oh, totally. And as you said, like we really don't control the outcome, actually. Like we can design, optimize, but really we control the execution and bringing a high quality data with integrity that we're all committed to in this industry to answer the scientific questions we're asking, and making sure that we're focusing on what we can control, and then the other uncontrollable are really part of the experiment itself. So
what I say is really towards really speed and quality. I mean, you need the quality, but it has to occur really quickly. Yeah.
So the third one is somehow related, biotech.
Biotech. So it's really an interesting word, and because you have the concentration really in a small environment of really everything. I mean, you have the science, you have the business, you have drug development in between, and then you have to juggle with everything. So it can be really overwhelming for people, but can be also exciting because you will do very different things really in the same day. You can interact with investors, with boards, and you are still doing drug development. You talk about science, and you can still, at the same time, you have to fix the copier because no one will fix it for you. You have to do things yourself. So I think the biotech world is really fascinating. You get really positive experience there if you like it, and not everyone would really like it. You got to do things that you have done so many years back in your career. You might not do it as well. You won't have also the expertise that you find in big pharma or mid-sized organizations, and you need to admit that you can't know it all, and then you need to find expertise outside when you need to. So it's really a great experience, and it can be stressful because right now the environment for biotechs is really stressful in order of raising funds, and then that's complicated for the field right now.
The last one is spread love in organizations.
Yeah, so that's a really interesting one. So when I saw the title of your podcast, I mean, first I'm okay, Benhadji, that's really interesting because it's really bold, because people don't talk about really love in organizations, right? But when you think about it, I really like the bold approach that you are taking it, because at the end of the day, you need really to take care of patients, you take care of all your people surrounding you to help the patients. And you need really some love in the process, otherwise it's not going to work. So you can call it differently, but I think that's really bold. And then we want really to work together for a common mission, and you can't achieve that without love.
Any final word of wisdom for leaders around the world?
Be positive, believe in your mission, and take care of the people that surround you and help you, and then you will find success in the process.
Well, thank you so much again for being with me today and this great chat.
Thank you, Naji, for the invitation.
Thanks for listening to the show. For more episodes, make sure to subscribe to SpreadLoveIO.com or wherever you listen to your podcasts. Let's inspire change together and make a positive impact in healthcare, one story at a time.